I'll always be with you.
A very good morning to everybody joining us here at Painted Dog this morning. Thanks for all joining us. We are on the beautiful Rietspruit Reserve with the sun slowly starting to rise. So we've got a hell of an exciting morning ahead of us. Going to be quite a different morning today, in the sense that for those of you that have not seen or been updated on certain aspects, there is a couple of wild dogs that are in a boma currently. And you know, at Painted Dog, there's a hell of a lot of research. Oh, we've got a rhino. We've got a rhino right here. Right here. Just going to see if I can get the light on him. There we go. That's awesome. Thank you. So just up ahead of us here, what a absolutely incredible way to start the day. You know, being out here so early really is such a privilege, to be waking up with the bush and seeing these large animals get active, start waking up for the day and start their feeding activity. Literally could not ask for a better start. For those of you that weren't with us on the drive yesterday afternoon, we've been searching for rhino for a couple of days, and we've been following some really fresh sign, and I believe that this bull is the exact individual that we have been looking for. We've seen his tracks all over the show. We've seen his territorial marking. So it's truly special to actually get a chance to see him. You know, it's that amazing time of the day in the bush where everything's starting to wake up. There's this hype of activity kicking off. We heard lions vocalizing in the distance. The guys at camp this morning heard some leopard as well vocalizing. So everything really is starting to wake up. But look at that, hey? Such a large animal that has gone into the bush and only about 20 feet away, if that, and he's already disappeared. Now, it really just shows and reiterates, no matter how big or small these animals are, they can be quite difficult to find. You can imagine if we got here 2 minutes later, we wouldn't have had such an epic start to the game drive. And this is a white rhino. You could tell by the concave portion on the back, as well as with those very pointy ears and that flat mouth, as well as also just looking at the general size of the animal. You know, typically they're getting active very early on in the mornings now in these summer months, because throughout the day it progressively gets so hot that it just becomes too much use of energy for them. But I can just hear a few twigs and branches breaking now as he walks through the bush there. So we're not going to hang around with him. We are going to carry on our mission this morning. First of all, what we're going to be doing to start the drive is there is currently a pack of 5 wild dogs, and it's all males, funny enough, 5 of them. And the reason, firstly, why they are in the boma is about 2 months ago, they had gotten out of another reserve from quite a distance from here, actually, a number of kilometers to the east, and they had gone through farms. They had gone up north, then they had gone east, then they were at Rietspruit Dam, so they were all over the show. So it became absolutely vital that we located them and we darted them and put them in a safe zone. And the reason being is that a lot of these wild dogs, unfortunately, they get poisoned, they get killed because they run onto farmland and so forth, where they end up killing a number of cattle, a number of sheep and that sort. So at Painted Dog, we were able to fund the process and ensure that these dogs were kept safe. So what we did is we went and we caught the pack. Now, this took about 3-4 days to finally get them and to be successful. And what had happened was the pack had actually split. So 4 of them had crossed over one of the main roads into another reserve, and 1 was left behind. Now, the one that was left behind had a very, very bad snare wound. And for those of you that don't know, a snare is effectively a piece of wire that's in a circle-like structure, and when an animal walks through, that snare tightens, and that wire tightens usually around the leg. For other species like that of leopard and so forth, it's often around the abdomen, but wild dogs in particular, it's more a case of it's around the leg. It looks like we might get lucky and our rhino friend might come back to the road. Can hear him coming, but for now let's just give him some time and see See, maybe we'll get lucky and he'll come back onto the road for us. So while these wild dogs are in the boma, it allows for them to recover, it allows for them to become familiar with the area that they're currently in, and these are all very important aspects and form a very, very important part of the conservation aspect. I think we're going to get this rhino on the road, but let's give him a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, the one that did have the very bad snare wound around the leg, we had to amputate that leg, so we put them in the boma and we got them in, I think it was the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and on the Friday we conducted a surgery where the leg was amputated. And now we had to come up with a name. This is one of my favorite parts of this, is that we had to come up with a name for research purposes and monitoring purposes. So I thought it's only appropriate that we give it a good name, and we called him Eileen because he's got 3 legs now. So he does walk with a slight limp, but what is absolutely incredible is that even by amputating that leg, that wild dog will completely recover. It was done in such a clean, neat way. It was sewed up really well, lots of disinfectants, a couple of antibiotics, and actually went past the boma yesterday to have a look at them, and I can't believe how well Eileen's actually doing. So what we're going to do this morning is, while they are there, they obviously can't be feeding because they're not out in the general area of the private game reserve. So we're going to head up there and we are going to feed them this morning. We are going to give them an impala. And again, this forms a very crucial part of the conservation aspect. While they are there, we need to feed them, make sure that they keep up their condition and keep themselves really prime and really strong. So it's super exciting. It's something that is incredible to witness. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a slow drive up toward the boma, and once we get there, we will go in and give them a impala. So really exciting stuff this morning. You're really getting to see the heart of conservation and how conservation takes place out here in Africa, and you getting to see it firsthand. Again, all of this is due to us being able to broadcast to you live from the middle of Africa on this beautiful morning. Okay, let's just give this guy another minute. I can see his bum moving. Let's maybe try go a little bit forward. And remember, with it being a YouTube game drive, our interaction is going to happen all through the app or all through the YouTube channel. So I will be checking every now and then to see your questions, see your comments, and it's an awesome opportunity for you to all learn something new, learn something a little different. So please, by all means, if you hear something, see something, or chat about something that sparks an interest, by all means, please shoot the questions. Look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Another aspect of the conservation side, you'll notice that this rhino doesn't actually have a horn. And currently all the way throughout Africa, we are really struggling with poaching, and primarily rhino poaching. So there is a massive incentive with a huge price tag on that horn. So unfortunately, that's what they're getting poached for. So it's very, very important that we do our part. And another conservation aspect from this perspective is we conduct dehorning operations, where it's a massive operation with vet teams, with helicopter teams, and it takes a number of months. Excuse me. And by dehorning them, we're basically taking that incentive away for the poachers to be going after them. And we are seeing that it is working. Michael, you're asking, if I had to give one reason why people should want to save the rhinos, not just in Africa, but across the world, what would I say? Well, a rhino, firstly, it's one of those iconic species. It's a keystone species out here, meaning that it does play a very important environmental role. Being a bulk grazer, they feed on a hell of a lot of grass. And while he's moving through there, that's exactly what he's doing now. You can see he's in a little open patch. And with that lip structure, it's that squared lip rhino is the other name for it. And with that square lip, they're able just to roll the pieces of grass and the follicles of grass into the mouth. So they help from that perspective, from keeping, the open clearings nice and low. They also, when they defecate, they're allowing for grass seeds and so forth to germinate, which helps. Other factors like, going into having a rhino midden, which is a territorial marking midden, where they will often go and defecate, and it almost becomes like that of a border post. So they'll have these middens scattered around. So yes, the midden for the rhino serves as a territorial marking, but for other species it opens up food sources and so much more. Just want to see if we can get a visual of him. Yeah, we're going to get him now as he comes around the corner. So it's even amazing to think that such a large animal like this, one of Africa's largest animals, or mammals rather, affects some of the smallest. So you got things like dung beetles and that sort. So without the rhinos and the elephants and the buffaloes, those dung beetles will not be able to survive, because it helps them to develop such a crucial food source, as well as for a number of animals, they can make a home out of it. What a beautiful shot. We have got Basil on camera this morning, and VM in FC in final control. And look at that for an absolute stunning shot, with the mountains in the back and that morning sunlight just coming up. Also, you're saying, oh my gosh, that rhino is huge. You are absolutely right. This rhino is massive. This is a fully grown bull, and the bulls do tend to get fairly larger than that of the females. But you can see it's a very well-established male. Very difficult to age a rhino, but just judging by his side, I'd say maybe in his 20s somewhere, early to mid-20s. See, that horn development is absolutely massive on the front and the back horn. You look at that base and how broad it is at the base, and then just his general size and condition. Basil getting us some incredible shots over here. It's funny, we've been out for 15 minutes and we've already seen more than what we did on the last YouTube drive. So I think this is a absolute phenomenal indicator of how the morning's going to go. Going to be a super exciting day out in Africa. And how epic that you are all able to join us here and witness this from the comfort of your own home. So I'm not going to get into specifics about where the different animals have their territories and what portions of the reserve and so forth. It's something that we don't put out and broadcast. We never want to be giving too much information on the whereabouts of these animals, because we don't want to be jeopardizing anything of a kind. But yesterday was also quite a warm day, and you can see he's got a slight discoloration on his side, and then on that little hump on his back on the spine, it's quite dark. So that would indicate that yesterday during the heat of the day, this guy was most likely in a mud wallow or in a dam. So going into the mud, firstly the mud cools him down and acts almost like a natural coolant and a sun cream. But secondly, it's got another very, very important aspect behind it. In the sense that when that mud dries, there will be all of it will become crusty, and all of the external parasites will stick to that dried out mud. So then when he goes to a tree, and as you can see on his bum there, all of the scratches, when he goes to a tree and scratches that mud off, it becomes a exfoliant for the animal. So effectively it's the same as us having a shower with a exfoliator. No problem, Michael. I know it's always super interesting to know which is the animals and which areas they're hanging about. Also really interesting just to follow the interactions and what they get up to in the different areas. But it's a hell of a fair question. I mean, I'm one to do it as well. When I go to a new area, I always ask, so what are the different species? What are the different territorial regions? Where do they hang around? So it's a very, very common question. Absolutely beautiful now. All the birds waking up. I'm sure you can hear them in the background. Just sit here quietly for a couple of minutes. I'm not sure if you can hear that call that's happening behind us, but it's a little rattling testicular that's calling. I can't see it. You can just hear it, and there's some acacias behind us, and I believe that's what he's probably sitting in. It's like listening to an alarm clock on repeat. You know what they say, the early bird catches the worm. So I think we're definitely going to catch the worm today, and we've already caught it with this rhino. Just while we sit here nice and quietly, you can count about 7 or 8 different bird species just calling all around us right now. I mean, isn't that lovely? And you'll notice when you saw me on camera earlier, I've still got my jersey on. Now, on these cold mornings, you've got what you call an inversion layer. Now, this inversion layer effectively, it's like taking a blanket and throwing a cold blanket over the earth. And what it does is it holds in that cold, dense layer of air. And with that cold, dense layer, sound and scent will travel a lot further. So animals like that of lion, leopard, hyena, all these territorial species, often the case that you'll hear them vocalizing in the early morning because they know it requires less energy, as well as that sound is going to travel a lot further, so it makes it just that much more effective for them. So we're going to get lots of activity, and as the morning progresses, that activity will slowly dissipate. Carol, you're right, that was an absolute stunning shot with the mountains. It's beautiful to see those rock faces in the morning when they get that orange glow from that sun rising. It's going to be very difficult to hear through the microphone, but while this big bull is feeding, you can actually hear his lips going. And you can actually hear him feeding. Pretty incredible. Good morning, stations, Joffers Mobile, Painted Dog TV. Copy that, thanks. Single Rhino bull to the south of Leopard West and Biosta Pat. So yeah, I just called that over the radio. These radio channels are very secure, that nobody else can hear what's going on. And there are firewalls and that sort, just like that of a computer with an antivirus. Okay, but I think off he goes. That was a absolutely incredible way to start the morning. Like I said, what a great indicator for how the morning's going to go. So I think at this stage, what we're going to do is we're going to let him be, go on his merry day, and we are going to go back onto our mission. And go and feed some wild dogs. Super exciting to do it with you on here, because it's so vehicles just waking up as well on these chilly mornings. It's not something that many people get to witness, let alone be a part of. So super awesome that we get to do this with you this morning. And what's also really nice is while we're sitting with our rhino friend over there, the sun has risen. So we have got a bit more light. So now we're on our adventure and in for an absolute treat of a day. Almost didn't put a jersey on this morning. I think if I didn't, I would have been quite chilly. But I thought, let me put a jersey on and make sure I've got myself covered. Got my peacock care happening again. I look like alfalfa, just with that little piece sticking out the back. And a big thank you again to Stanley for making sure that we get the day started right with a warm cup of coffee out in these chilly mornings out in Africa. And after the rains with all the mud and that sort around, we've got some superb Dunlop tyres to get us through the reserve, get us to the various areas, and of course can't forget Rogue for their incredible shoes that allow us to go all types of places out here in the bush. Okay, but I need the accelerator again, so that's going back down. And without lead lenser, we never could have lit up that Rhino for you. So again, all coming together and working together to help one another. And it's so crucial. Collaborations out here in the bush are really something that makes conservation and all of these efforts just so much more doable. and so much more successful. When everybody comes together and we all help one another, it means that we can just do so much more for so many different species, and it also becomes a massive learning curve for all of us. So all super special. So massive thank you to everyone that is part of the Painted Dog pack, all of the viewers and so forth, because without you could never do the type of conservation work that Painted Dog does. Hey Mary, morning. I think it's quite ironic when you go on these early morning game drives and you've got this, you've got a jacket on or jumper of some sort, and in about probably an hour or so we're going to be losing all of the layers just because it gets so warm so quickly out here. What a beautiful way to start a weekend. Just another tough day in Africa right here, hey? But you know, we've all got to make sacrifices. Someone's got to do it, hey? I always say I've never worked a day in my life. I regard this as a lifestyle rather than a job. And it's really special. Whenever I travel overseas, I really enjoy it, but only for about a week or so. And then my heart just bleeds for Africa and makes me really homesick. And then I get back here and I feel like these are my people, this is my place, this is where I'm most comfortable, and this is where I can just enjoy life. We've even got some zebra on the left. Oh, this is going to be a great day. So we've got the Burchell's plain zebra over here. Straight away off the bat you can identify it. How the stripes stop going under the belly, those black stripes, as well as if you look at the rump region. You'll notice that on the white area, between the two black stripes, there is a fainter stripe. And that faint stripe is what we refer to as a shadow stripe. And that is a direct marking of the Burchell's plain zebra. It's actually a really cool shot that Basil's getting there on that side profile. See all the different colorations and how they integrate into one another. So this might get you a little bit dizzy, but Basil, can I ask you something to do just a little bit different? Can you move the camera just side to side, just very small, like centimeter to centimeter, just left and right, while you zoomed in like that? Yeah, and now right? And then a couple of times just look here. So just like that, like back and forth a little, and quickly if you can. Because I just want to show you how these stripes integrate. So, okay, there we go, like that. Yeah, so like quickly back and forth. No, so zoom in. And then like that, like, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Alright, thanks. Sharp. Cool. So the reason why I just asked Basil to do that was when it's when the camera is moving like that, you're kind of putting yourself into a predator's shoes now when these zebra are running. And when they're running, all of those stripes, they play a vital role from a camouflage perspective. Now you look at that and you would think, oof, that animal stands out like an absolute sore thumb out here with that white and black, because it doesn't look anything like the bush. But remember, the predators see in these very dull colors, right? So when zebra are running away from a predator, you'll notice that it's majority of the time they'll run together as a herd. So by running together as a herd, all of those stripes integrate into one another, and it creates almost this blur screen. So then it becomes very difficult for a predator to identify which individual it is that they want to hunt. So it just helps them a little bit from a camouflage perspective, or helps them a lot from a camouflage perspective. And it also just breaks that outline of the body. Michael, your heart bleeds for Africa. I can tell you, once you've done one safari, it's very tough to do other vacations. And, you know, I really wish that everybody out here could get an opportunity, or everyone throughout the world could get an opportunity to experience that epic feeling that you get when you're on safari. And I can tell you about it. I can explain to you the smells and the sounds while we're out here on this epic virtual drive. But it really becomes a feeling that you get when you set out, that feeling of anticipation, of excitement when you're out in the morning. What's around the next corner? What's going to happen today? You know, safari, you can explain it to people, but it's such a feeling that you get when you're out here. Oh, we've even got a giraffe joining the party. He must be getting a beautiful view of that sunrise. 2 giraffe, 3 giraffe. And when you're trying to see giraffe through the thickets like this in the bush, it can be quite a tall order to see them. And off they go. We can just hear the hoofs trotting off at the back there. And there does seem to be a little open clearing. So I'd imagine that that is where the zebra had slept last night, in a nice little open clearing. And they're just ensuring that that they can see, hear or smell a predator approaching them. Gives them a few more seconds to run away. Of course, at night it doesn't help too much coloration. But when a predator runs into a herd of animals at night, it's often the case it becomes every man for himself, and they all take off in different directions, and then they'll regroup again from there. And what an incredible morning so far. Rhino, zebra and giraffe. Like, absolutely epic. Good morning, Painted Dog TV from New York, aka Brent. Here we go, we've caught up to the giraffe. Full giraffe now, and the zebra also on a mission. Maybe it's from that animal show, Unlikely Animal Friends. Let's keep going parallel with them here and see, perhaps we'll get a bit more of an open clearing and get a better visual of them. Oh, isn't that stunning? Just going to stop. It looks like, and a kudu as well. 2 kudus, 2 male kudus. Just want to go on the road. Basil, I think they're going to run across the road here. Oh no, they just turned the opposite direction. Let's see if we can get a bit closer. Now, you see, what happened there was when we were, the giraffe came first, and then the zebra came behind, and one of those zebras started running. And with that one individual that started running, it almost acts as that of a second alarm or secondary alarm call. So now that's run, and the other species in the area and other individuals get the thought process of, ooh, is there a predator around? Is there something dangerous? That animal is running, so I'm also going to get out of the area and make sure that I'm safe. So that often happens out here, where one will affect the others. So we saw our rhino friend earlier, and we said that there has been a fair amount of sign of rhino in the area. Now we have got some other tracks here that are fresh. Firstly, the reason why we know that they're fresh is because last night I actually drove back on this road, so we know that they are from during the course of the night or perhaps early this morning. And this over here looks to be a white rhino with a youngster. And as you can see, they've walked through here. You can see a bit of disturbance on the soil where they've actually walked down the embankment, carried on through, and off they've gone straight into the bush. So like we've just seen that bull rhino earlier on, this becomes a really nice example here as to how this works. Okay, so when they scrape like this and they move off into the bush, you can see that this individual, there's no game pathway here or road, so it's just randomly walking through the bush. Now for them to find one another, those middens that we were talking about earlier become super crucial, because when they walk and they scrape their feet and so forth, that's their communication piece. And I always say a rhino midden, it's like a Tinder page or a Facebook page, because it gives you all of the relevant details that you need. So maybe that this individual here, it's following the scent of another individual going down towards the drainage line there. Maybe after the rain, there's some water. They know that it's going to be nice and cool, nice and muddy. So with the day progressively getting warmer, they've got a perfect spot to hang around, good grass, good feeding opportunity. So yeah, shows that they're all active in the area. So a lot of these rhino really require certain areas and specific areas for grazing purposes that have a good amount of grazing. But it's really nice to see the signs of them around, and that we know that there's quite a few. And as you can see, while we're driving along here, we have got the sun peeking through the bushes, getting that beautiful morning golden light. Makes me just want to sing. Ya Tsabenya. Get some of that Lion King action going. And on the left, this is just too much. There's just so much going on this morning. We've got the giraffe and the zebra back, and they've got to a little open clearing. Maybe in the thought process of if there is a predator, they'll be able to spot it. Really pretty also with that morning golden light on them. Always love that morning light on giraffe. I think it just makes them even more beautiful than what they are. And that very distinctive bird call that you're hearing, a Sterling's wren warbler. Thanks, Michael. You know, I've actually been thinking of changing my career and becoming a singer. Should probably be a career that lasts about 20 seconds. We've got some more rhino tracks here on the road. Quite tough to see though. The substrate's gotten quite hard. Ooh, and there is a male lion track as well. So the whole area has been super busy last night. You know, also a couple of days after the rain, it really helps to really just bring the life back, because everything starts to move around again. It's got more stable temperatures that are continuous, so it just becomes a little bit easier for the various species. And as you can see, we are already having some superb luck this morning. Luckily I made a very strong coffee. I think I put about 7 spoons of coffee in here this morning. I'm going to be like a Energizer bunny in about 58 minutes. Not that I really need more energy, I don't think. So yeah, these rhino tracks, Peso, here's a much better example of them. And this could even be the same bull that we saw earlier. See a much larger track than the one we just looked at, and a very nice one to see. The side toe over here, other side toe, and the front toe. Now you can also see the discoloration on a few of the toes, so that would also be a nice gauge as to how old these tracks are. So when it's pushed forward, it's got a layer of dew, so we can say that this is probably early morning or very late last night. But a very big bull, this. And just behind it, we've got a hyena track over here. So yesterday, on the private drive with the pack, which is really awesome, we were chatting quite a bit about brown hyena, and this looks to be the track of the brown hyena. And the reason why I say that is the front foot's considerably larger than that of the back foot, and looking at the size of that, I'd go with definite brown hyena. So typical of firstly of a hyena, it's got that moon-shaped toe, as you can see on the side over there, and the other factor is you can see the claw marks that have impaled into the soil. So really nice to know that the area has been utilised by brown hyena. Just by looking at the tracks of these animals, we can tell who's been where, who's killed who, who's done who. And I always say in the city, you've got a newspaper that gives you all of that information. Out here, we've got the roads and we've got the game paths that give us all of that information about the bush and what's really going on out here. And it gives us an understanding as to what's going on, and then helps us to then dictate as to where we go for our game drives, what areas we want to focus on. So this is a very, very crucial point, especially in these early mornings starting the day. Just sets us in the right direction. You won't believe it, but we've got our friends back again. Maybe they're really liking my deodorant this morning. You can see the oxpeckers also having their morning feed on the giraffe, cleaning off all of the external parasites there. And at this point, we would still refer to that as a mutualistic relationship from a symbiotic process. And the reason why is because the giraffe is benefiting in the sense that it is getting cleaned and getting the parasites picked off of it, and the bird is benefiting in the sense that it is getting a food source. But it can quickly turn to parasitism, where the bird becomes a parasite. If that giraffe has a big cut or gash or something of a kind, and that bird continuously feeds at it, it can open to infection, and of course that can then be quite detrimental to the giraffe. Zebra crossing early in the morning. I'm sure you've seen a few of those, Brent, in New York, in that area, if you're still on. Maybe not in the cab, but New York's not too big, Brent. You should be walking, not taking a cab. Michael, 100%. Can definitely look for a little bee eater. If I do see one, we will stop and we will show you the bee eater. I can promise you there's a hell of a lot of coffee in here. I've had this for a couple of years, and I tell you, this is like my biggest bush mate out here. This thing really has worked wonders. Yeah, I keep this all over, but that would be pretty funny if there was if there's nothing in here. What would be even better is that if there's like a little button under here, so you could have like a bottomless coffee. That would be absolutely phenomenal. All right, we are almost at the boma, so almost time for the feeding. Ooh, look at this. Basil, if I get out of your way, are you going to be able to get that with the camera?
Yeah, I can.
Ah, fantastic. Getting us all the angles here. So what I was just talking about at the previous chat with the Rhino, and saying that all of that communication comes through the scent. What's happened here is a Rhino has come and he's sprayed. Now, this is still wet, so I'm not going to walk exactly where he's gone, because I really don't like having Rhino urine on me first thing in the morning. But what he's done is he's urinated and he's sprayed. And after he's sprayed, he's then dragged his feet. Get that scent to really stick to the bottom of his feet. So now, whether it be a female wanting to mate, whether it be a male wanting to fight for territory, any of those communication factors can start from exactly this point. So one of the really positive signs that we look for when we are looking for these species, you see it's nice and fresh. There's lots of grass and vegetation that's been uprooted. All of that is still very green and it's still moist. So that shows us that this is very fresh. And I don't know if you'll be able to zoom right up on it, but you can actually see the droplets from the spray, from the territorial spray. Basil, I'm asking you to do all angles here, but just behind us is an incredible shot of giraffe walking down the road with the sunlight on the mountains as well. Looks like Norman and his friend over there. Norman and Harold going for their morning stroll. Bye-bye, giraffe. All right, Michael, round 2 for the song. As we get back in the vehicle and we start off. On the road again. Da 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 da. On the road again. That's all of the words I know, so I can't sing more, sorry. Feel like we need a drum roll also leading up to the boma. We've hardly made it very far and we've almost been out an hour already. Feels like we've been out 10 minutes. You know what the good news is? At least the boma is a very easy area to find. You just go on the road straight out of Ace and keep going. I spoke about the rattling testicular earlier. I've just seen one. We call him an OBJ, a little brown job in the bush, because these OBJs can often be very difficult to identify and they move very swiftly and quickly. But he's gone. Oh, you see him? Ah, Basil's on it. Right, Carol, I need to get my drum set back out.
He flew off.
He flew off. Okay. Maybe I was just doing a little flyby. Still going, yeah, Michael. Still probably, I reckon, around there. Trust me, when you're waking up at 3:30 in the morning, definitely need a few of these. This will probably be about one of 8, 9 today. Another species to add to the morning, some impala. Looking ever so beautiful in that morning light. Guys, there's an eland. There's an eland. Straight to the left of the impala. To the left of impala, there's eland. That's my first time seeing eland on this reserve. Can you see it? What? See it? That is absolutely amazing. I think for a lot of us, it's our first time to see eland on the reserve here. I saw the movement and the colour and I thought, no, it must be a kudu. But now 100% can confirm that is an eland. How incredible is that? I'm not sure how many there actually even are on the reserve, to be honest. 2. Wow! Guys, today is our day. Today is our day. Basil saying he reckons there's 2 on the entire reserve. And I think these are the 2. It is quite far away and zoomed in, but 100% you can see that dewlap in front and part of the Tricholarchus family with a spiral horn there. Super, super exciting. How epic is that? And the impala, I don't know who. It's either the impala or the eland that are having an identity crisis here. But maybe it was just that one eland and I was getting confused. I think it was just one, hey? One. Yeah. So what that eland probably did was spent the night with the impala, with another species, and had more eyes and ears, because of course, the more eyes and ears you have out here, the safer you are going to be. No, okay, never mind. Scratch that. Rewind. You have seen eland. Oh, having quite a few firsts. Yesterday afternoon, first spotted eye here. Today, first eland. Very exciting. Wonder what else will be out and about for us this morning. That Rhino really gave us an awesome kickstart. It was just like putting jumper leads into the bush, getting us going for the day. You're a deerdrix cuckoo. Deerdrix. Calling in the back. I say, I can hear a deerdrix cuckoo calling there. One of those ones that's incredibly camouflaged. It's got this almost like iridescent green coloration to it, with a beautiful white underbelly. Now, it's quite difficult to spot them, but we often hear them out here. Still got our Rhino tracks. So our baby impala just crossed the road. Basil, there's so much happening. We just don't know where to put the camera this morning. Nice, Carol, that's awesome. Number 4 for the list. Hyena. Don't worry, Michael, we're keeping a lookout for your little beta. Oh, look at this, a whole lot more giraffe. Let's try to get a shot with him with the mountains behind. See if I can position like that. Beautiful. Oh, Michael, that is hilarious. Santa asked Mrs. Claus what the weatherman is forecasting for Christmas Eve. She responds, "They're calling for rain, dear." Michael, we should really start a comedy show together. Carol, don't you mean whose jokes are better? You know, jeez, I reckon we are top form, mate. A distinctive callie hearing in the back, black-crowned chagra. Isn't it so good to also just see that genetic diversity? See all different shapes and colorations and so forth. Would indicate a really, really large gene pool. And quite a unique social structure that these giraffe have. Where they do temporary association. They'll come together in a herd like this, they'll socialize a little bit, either meet and greet, and then they'll move on. It's never a fixed social structure, but rather that of a temporary nature. So that one that Basil's currently on, with the light shining in the face there, you can see those cheek pockets are absolutely massive. So Basil, if you can just keep the camera just like that, or on her face like that, just so we can see the neck, please. Thanks. Because I just want to show you, watch when she stops chewing, watch the neck, and you'll actually see that ball of cud going down the neck and then getting regurgitated. Let's give her a second. Okay, watch the neck. There it goes. Did you all see that? How that ball of cud goes down and then gets regurgitated and back up. You guys make me laugh on the comments. Did you all see that with the cud going down the neck and then regurgitated? Let's see it once more and then we're going to continue. I feel like our mission's just getting delayed here. It's just too much going on this morning. Okay, watch the neck. That was a very quick one. Let's wait once more. No, don't move. Wait. Do it before you move. Stay. Stay. Watch the neck, watch the neck. There it goes. How cool is that? Okay, thank you, Giraffe, but we've got to stick on our mission. We have got some hungry members to go and feed. I know, right, Mary? I also almost forgot that we're going to the dogs. Maybe what we'll do after we've seen the wild dogs, we can get Basil to see if he'd like to try a silver cluster leaf to see the effect that it has. Remember Andrew, I think it was on Andrew's second or third day at Paint a Dog, and he was out on drive with me and we did it together. We had a good laugh. Hey Basil, would you like to try a tree this morning? Try a leaf? Or should we just leaf it at that? Don't worry, Carol, we're on it. We're on it. We're definitely going to make it. We're actually not far from the boma now. We are just around the corner, I think. You all know how well I know this reserve, so when I say it's around the corner, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 2 hours. I'll be surprised myself. But I think we're close. I think we're super close. Getting hotter, getting hotter, getting... Oh, hey! There is the boma! And there is 2 lesser spotted Homo sapiens over there. They're currently bipedal. It's what we refer to as the lesser spotted Yana and Andrew. Quite a unusual species out in the bush. Looks like Andrew's trying to do some courtship behavior over there. Or he's maybe nature's calling. Alright guys, what we're going to do, I am going to go off camera just for a little bit. Mary, around the corner, but not necessarily this corner. Good one. So I'm going to go off camera for a second and just quickly pop into the boma. And then I will be back with you in about 58 seconds. Turn around. All right. Oof, if I kept going forward there, that might have been a shocking experience. Might have thought I'm becoming the Minister of Defence. So you can see that the dogs here, they have already associated the sound of the vehicle with the feeding time, knowing that food is coming. So they have been in this boma now for a couple of weeks, and we are getting to the point where waiting for some testing and so forth to come back. And once we have got all of that, we will then get them released and find them a new home. But you can't see Eileen right now. We will see Eileen shortly. Look at that, they know it's coming. Alright, I'm going to say pause for now, or I will be back with you in 2 minutes. I don't know if the microphone is going to reach that far. I will keep the mic on me to see if we can continue to chat. VM, have you got my comms there in final control? So Mary, I actually asked Jana and Andrew to come here at 5 o'clock and said, can you meet us at 5? But of course that did not happen because we have had such an incredible morning. Absolutely amazing. Good morning. Bikes are absolutely in the sense that walk a distance from the vehicle. Must be joking. Oh. Guys, how unbelievable is that? Now, you can see they're all having a really, really good feed there. So I'm going to leave the boma. You know, it's very crucial that we just drop it and we leave it there. And we have not much interaction with it. So I'm quite a distance from the vehicle, so I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. VM, can you hear me in FC? Locking it. Look how they absolutely devour that carcass. And this is what these wild dogs are so well known for. Feeding like this and just absolutely annihilating that prey. And usually takes 2 to 3 minutes before they actually have nothing left. So everything from the skull, the bones, the skin, it's a very, very fast feeding process. And what's even more incredible to see is to see that they are all feeding. Everyone from Eileen with the 3 legs to the other 4-legged dogs. Absolutely awesome to see. Now, like I said, you are seeing conservation here at its finest, and this is a case of a really good success story. I think the whole team at Painted Dog, as well as the helicopter crews and the veterinarial crews, can give everybody a real good pat on the back, because this has been an incredible success story. It's not very often that this happens. And, you know, these wild dogs are very sensitive animals. So it is something truly special for you to all be a part of and witness this right now. Could not ask for a better conservation scene to be happening. I will be back with you all in a second to check your comments. But right now I am off the vehicle, outside of the boma. Might be a bit of a distance, but there's... Listen to that vocalizing. Just that huge sense of excitement happening while they're all feeding on that carcass. Or perhaps that was Andrew's courtship call in the background.
I'm sexy. I don't know.
So these dogs are getting fed every couple of days or so. And like I said, it's just to ensure that they keep their condition up and make sure that they are healthy and that nutrient level is kept good. So on the release, when they do get released, they'll be able to really flourish and do hell of a well. It is one of those species that's continuously on the move, so conservation wise it's probably one of the most difficult animals to deal with out here, or to find. Luckily the one male from this pack has got a collar, a radio collar, and that helps us just to locate them. So should they get out again from whatever reserve they may go to, it will assist in the sense that we are able to find them again. Carol, I didn't actually see any limping. It looked like Eileen is doing very well. Certainly we wouldn't say that he's about to leg it out of here. But yeah, he's doing a hell of a well. The boys are very hungry. So Michael, you're saying, I imagine once they are released with some lady friends, that they won't seek humans out for Impala handouts. Instinct will take over probably. 100% instinct will take over. I mean, even when we were here the other day and there was some Impala around the boma, there was a reaction from the dogs and they go straight into that hunting setup. So although they are getting fed now, this does not mean at all, there comes Eileen, it does not mean at all that they are going to, their survival will be jeopardized from a hunting perspective. There's Eileen, look guys, look at that, there's the 3 legs on the left. And what's amazing is that Eileen won't be able to necessarily fight as the others will for the food, but they will all make sure that he still gets a meal, being that very tight-knit family unit. They will make sure that every individual is fed and every individual has a decent feed. And again, without the Painted Dog pack members and the viewers, these dogs would not be here today. So a massive thank you to all of you back home that are watching from home and have made the donations. It just again just shows how crucial it is for that continuous support. so we can continue to save Africa's iconic species. Michael, also, you had previously mentioned that once they're released with some lady friends, they won't seek out human handouts. Look, I mean, the goal is to find a suitable female for this pack, and once they do get a female or two, there's a very good chance that they will stay within the area and they'll reside within the area, because a female really does hold to settle a pack like this. When it's just males, they're continuously going to be on the lookout for those ladies and looking for a place to stay, as well as to pass on the genetic gene pool. So the process or the hopes is to find a couple of females that will be able to go in with them and really just hope to settle them in one particular area. And the way that you do it, you can imagine that you can't just take a random female, tranquilize or dart a female and pop it in. That will not end well for the female. What we'll do is dart the males that are in here, the individuals that are already in the boma, take a female that's tranquilized and sleeping, and then rub their bodies together. So by rubbing their bodies together, the male to the females, or the males to that one female perhaps, it just allows for that female to have the scent of their particular pack on her. So when they all wake up, it's kind of a case of believing they're all from the same pack, and there's no reason to have any debacles as such. So that's how it will all go down eventually, and that's what we're hoping to see in the next couple of weeks. And of course, you can't just go and find a female from a already existing pack elsewhere, tranquilize her and just transfer her to a new pack. You got to be very cautious of how you do it, and there's a lot of understanding and backwork that goes into it. You got to be super cautious of the different individuals and so forth. The other cases, a lot of dogs, unfortunately, they pick up disease very easily. One in particular called distemper, and distemper can often eliminate an entire pack of wild dogs. So they've got to make sure that the animal coming in is healthy and it's not going to affect the males that are currently in the boma that we are watching. So there's a lot of factors behind it, a lot of different aspects to look at. It's really, really important. And again, I know I've said it a lot, but it just goes back to the whole conservation factor. And all of you that are part of the pack, you can also give yourselves a really big pat on the back, knowing that you've been a huge part of the success story and how amazing it is that you've made this all possible. So I think we're going to give them another 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to leave them. We obviously don't want to hang around for too long. We don't want them to become too used to voices and vehicles and so forth. So it's also important that we let them have their natural behavior and stay as natural as possible. Ooh, that one's run away with a rib cage. And the other one's eating a leg. I think he's going to eat that leg all the way through, the entire leg, all the way down to the foot. So I could say that he's going to hoof it down. Mary, that is a brilliant comment. So, like, if I wake up in some dude's clothes, if I wake up and some dude's clothes were taking up half my closet, guess he's my boyfriend. Basically, yeah, that's pretty much how wild dogs work. Tinder needed, huh? Oh, that is that is brilliant. But how incredible was that? Super special. Nothing like a bit of impala for breakfast. Can smell that they've popped the stomach and they've bitten open the stomach. We're getting the beautiful bush aromas. Yeah, we'll come back and look for the last little bits and bobs, last little scraps. So you saw how quickly that impala got finished amongst 5 males. Now can you imagine if there's a pack of 20 or so, between 20 and 30, that impala is devoured within 30 seconds to a minute. And the best thing to do for these dogs, take a piece themselves, take a leg or something of a kind, and run around, go under a bush and eat it quietly so that they don't have to compete with anyone else. You can see Eileen having a good feed there in the back left as well. I'm joking. It's all hip hop and happening for Eileen over there. Alright guys, we are going to leave them. They're all starting to settle. They've got their piece and they're all moving further out. So we're going to leave them and let them be. And we will continue on this incredible morning that we're having out here. Bye-bye. Andrew, we can only see your head and your pants. You're wearing that camouflage jacket, so it's really difficult to see the rest of your body.
Right?
Huh?
See floating arms.
Right? Just see hands. Thanks, guys. So that was pretty amazing to see and to witness. And like I said, you can all really give yourselves a pat on the back for being massive contributors to the conservation efforts and the conservation front. We had spoken earlier about the importance of rhino and so forth, and we said one of the factors was that it supports smaller life out here. What you can see here is a perfectly rolled ball of dung from a dung beetle, most likely from a telecopterate dung beetle, and the reason why I say that is it's got a little hole in the top here where it's drilled in. So what happens is there's the dung beetle. Let me give him his ball back. There we go, guy. So it is a helicopter dung beetle. It's one that has got the wings that do invert and go under the completely lost the word, it just slipped my mind. It completely goes underneath the skin or outer shell as such, and they'll fly around, see a pile of dung, go in, get that dung, start developing the ball, roll the ball. Once they've got the ball, roll it in the sand, gets that hardened out there, find a spot and then bury it. Now, what this guy is doing is he is navigating using the sun. So he is coming on top of the ball, getting a bird's eye view, seeing the sun, and that is basically his natural GPS. Go ahead.
Maybe 200 meters south of the Boma. I've just located the Pride and 2 male lions dead on hoofpad, 100 meters south of the Boma.
Fantastic. We'll be with you shortly. So look now what he does is he with the front legs pushes with the back legs and pushing effectively in reverse. So he's going to continue to roll like that, and eventually he'll find a female. The female will drill a hole through the center, and she will lay her larvae, and then he will bury it, and happy days, we'll have some more little dung beetles. Alrighty, we are going to turn around hello Wendy. Dory, Michael, all of us are on the same boat, I can guarantee you that. Oh, losing my radio. Don't worry, the dung beetle is off the road. I'm checking my phone, but I have got a visual. I'm not going to drive over him. He won't become a new species of a flat-backed dung beetle. He was cleaning off the human off of his dung. Brilliant. Andrew, confirm you on Hoofpad, south, directly south of the Boma.
Hey firm. If you keep coming down Hoofpad, you'll see me on the dead end of the road.
Okay, copy, well done. Thank you, we'll be with you shortly. Got your visual, continue to approach. Lion, guys, lion in the road. There's a lioness walking in the road. So this is most likely what those zebra were alarm calling for earlier and why they ran. I think the direction that these lions are coming from is exactly from where that was. You can see 2 male lions and a lioness. And these zebra are not too far. The other factor what might have brought these lions out of the thickets here on the right hand side could have been that vocalizing of the wild dogs. So these lions know that there's that activity and that potentially there's a feeding opportunity for them. I mean, how much better can this drive actually get? It has really been incredible. So just going to park off the road, and then we will be able to get a epic walk by. Michael, Dung beetle, nature's blue collar worker. Yeah, so let me try go forward now. They've decided to stop on the road. Basically, if they walk past, just pop your leg in, huh? Guys, look at this. So while they are walking, the other vehicle is Andrew, so he's just enjoying probably getting some epic photographs there. So what I'm going to do is, as they walk, we are going to just reverse nice and slowly with them. So I can see 3 lionesses and 2 males, and neither of these males actually look like that of the injured one. So I think that guy's still probably alone. So by reversing like this, it just helps us to stay ahead of them, because once they get ahead of us, if we go behind, we will not be able to get back in front because of the thick vegetation around here. Absolutely incredible. Now let's see, they are going directly towards it where the boma is. The good news is they won't be able to get into the boma to the wild dogs, but it'll be quite interesting to see, is there a reaction, what do they do, and how do they handle it. But like I say, the good news is they're not going to be able to get into the boma itself, so there's absolutely no concern from that perspective. But when we initially saw the zebra, and I was explaining about the stripes of the zebra, that one zebra did start alarm calling, and then they did take off, and we said maybe they'd smelt or heard or seen a predator. And I reckon that these lions have been behind them for the most part of the morning. So you can see how they're going and smelling all of the bushes all around, leaving behind their scent. As we've mentioned multiple times, after the rain, all of that olfactory communication falls away, so they've got to be sure to go and remark the entire territory. Basil, how's this for the camera? You're right with me reversing? Yeah. It's just nice, so we can get them walking into us rather than following their bums. I'm not sure if Bucket is one of them. If I remember correctly, you guys are going to have to help me out here, but I think Bucket's got the cut on the ear, or a portion of the ear that's taken off. Just correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys can help me there. Three lionesses, 2 male lions, mobile in a northeasterly direction, now approaching the wild dog boma. 2 stations in position.
Kevin for Andrew.
I'll go ahead.
Kevin, as the one male lion got up, it appears it was the injured male with one of the other brothers, but I haven't seen a third one.
Okay, copy, thanks.
Isn't that incredible? Hey, look at that walk. They walk with such power. Andrew, try channel 2. Andrew, do you copy? How amazing, hey? Alright, cool, yeah. We'll have a look to see if we can see buckets once they stop moving. I'm just going to reverse quite a way because further back here is where the zebra and giraffe are hanging around. So I just want to give them a fair opportunity that they don't look at us and then see the lions. So we are going to go quite a way back, quite a distance back. Stand by with the prey species and see maybe we even get treated to a hunt. Andrew, if you copy, go channel 2. Channel 2, Andrew.
Copy that, Jobs. My channel 2 is not picking you up for some reason.
Not to worry then, cancel.
Copy.
Channel 2 can mean different things to different people. So on the Edward message, channel 2 is what we call the working channel. It's associated as the line of sight with the main channel. So I think you guys have got different channels on your radios.
Copy, thanks Kevin. Yeah, I think that channel 2 on these radios is channel 4. So we have got these giraffe and these zebra on our right hand side. If you look at the lions have now changed complete posture. They've seen the giraffe have not seen the lions yet. So let's see what takes place here. There we go. The giraffe has clocked the lions. And you'll see most likely once they get a little closer, the giraffe will run off. There we go. They've picked up on the scent of the wild dogs. They're going to come around to the boma, these lions. So that's definitely what drew them into the area, was that vocalizing from the dogs. Again, with it being nice and cool, that sound has travelled, as well as that scent of the impala that they're feeding on. So I'm going to ask you guys just to help me. If you see the lions, should be coming. There they come. Yeah, they are right in front here. So they know as they get closer, that scent is getting stronger and stronger. Be a nice opportunity for photograph. These guys walking behind. Pardon? Yeah, I got you on. Thank you. There we go. Look at that reaction. And as I've said already, the wild dog are absolutely safe, and this is why it is so crucial that we do this all very cautiously, very carefully. So the giraffe are also just in front of us, and they've all just clustered together. Just keeping an eye out. But eventually, these lions will give up. Which will, yeah. So these lions will soon get bored and know that there's not an opportunity here where they'll continue. But they are already looking very well fed and just trying to be a little bit greedy now. There you go, the giraffe all running up ahead of us. Oh, it's all happening this morning. I mean, this is absolutely unreal. Let's see if these males are walking down the road here. Yeah, there he is. There, two of them are. Basil, but keep your leg in now with him close. Yeah. Yeah. So Carol, I'm assuming by your comment that this has happened before with the lions around the boma. Yeah, super frustrating for the lions, but remember that they're also able to hunt for themselves. Being opportunistic hunters, but they will also scavenge at any opportunity that they may get. I see the male lions are just hanging about. And they know that if there is a chance of feeding, they'll hear the females and they'll run in to get their share. Right, thanks Carol. Okay, so you have seen them here before. And they have been here frequently. That would make sense. You can hear someone flying as well. Beautiful morning for a flight. Going to keep us in reverse because of the light, because if I turn around we're going to be facing into the light and you will not get a very good opportunity to see. We're going to stand by here and wait for these big boys to come past, and I believe I'm mistaken in saying that one of the two males wasn't the injured one. Apparently it is one of the injured one, which is also incredible because he wasn't showing any sign of walking funny or anything of a kind. We've now got some guinea fowl, some Hamilton guinea fowl calling in the back because of the lions and alarming. Like, this is just unreal. There's just so much going on this morning. Give it a minute. So the sound where that guinea fowl is coming from, that would indicate that those lions have already moved off, knowing that they're not going to get in here. So I think they've probably learned that it's not a feeding opportunity. They see it and it's not within their reach. where these male lions. Yeah, kitty.
We'll find the,
Where?
we'll find the best view.
Sure. Must I go forward?
Yeah.
Huh?
I saw some legs moving.
Oh, there he is. He'll come onto the road, yeah. Yeah, look at that, eh? When you see a lion like this, when you're on foot out here, and you just see a big mane popping up behind a bush like that, it's incredible how fast your heart rate gets. Morning, Janine. I think this is Bucket, if I'm not mistaken. These are the same lionesses. They've just done I believe, a full loop around the boma, and as they've now seen, to absolutely no avail. So just get behind them, and then we can get a front visual of them again coming past. Watch out for the trees. Shall I just put Basil through a tree? But I think we're in prime position here. Let's let them walk past here now. I'm pretty sure that's Bucket with that ear like that. Oh, Buddha boomch. Michael does it again. Good one. Here comes the big boss behind. I think the two boys are actually going to come through here together. Yeah, here's the limping male on the right. Look at that, eh? Just walking with such intent. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Mary. That's good to know. Gonna come right past us here. He's so close that we can hear him breathing. Oof. Look at the size of that head and the size of the paws. It's absolutely massive. Alright guys, we're not going to stay here for much longer. We are going to let them be. I can see that the lions have already moved off. The lionesses, there's one just on the corner and another one just going in. So they have left the vicinity of the boma and they are cutting through the bush. So we're not going to try and follow them through there. It is very, very thick. You can see that male at the background there. So if I move, you'll see him send marking there. Giving that
You can move to backfield position.
urine spray. Yeah, it looked like a gash rather than feeding, but also judging by the size of their stomachs, they've definitely had a meal. Doesn't look like anything considerably large, but maybe something like a wildebeest or something of a kind that the 5 of them fed on. Epic. Okay, we're going to leave them and we are going to carry on our missions. Guys, what an absolutely incredible morning out here. I mean, it's all happening, man. Really, really special. 3 lionesses, 2 male lions mobile in a easterly direction or northeast from the wild dog boma, unattended.
Rough Rhino going in towards the bushveld.
Gabe still on hoofpad, also going north. It's the 2 males and the 1 injured male.
Does it look like they're going to go around bushveld or they're going to go to bushveld?
I'm probably going to go around Boskamp by the trajectory now. It looks like they'll tend further east.
Probably.
Wonder where Ginger is. So yesterday afternoon when we were on game drive, there was a male lion called in Leadwood, quite a distance from here, and it was just a single individual. So I think that's probably that individual that is alone. That's probably Ginger, and he's still within the northern vicinity of the reserve.
That goes through the Wonder and West, and they're probably possibly visible from
Copy that, thanks. Yeah, we're a bit far for that now, but thanks for the update. Barbara, you're absolutely right. It probably is from one of his loving brothers. They probably had a bit of a tussle at a kill site where it becomes all paws and claws, every man for himself. And I'm sure you've seen it where lions, where they're feeding like that and it gets very aggressive and lots of and lots of just grabbing of the paws and biting. And you won't believe it, there's some extremely fresh lion tracks over here. The tracks are so fresh that we could see the animal. I mean, we really could not have asked for a better morning. Beautiful watching that morning light seep through with that golden morning kind of orangey light. Then so many different prey species, from the eland to kudu, giraffe, zebra, impala, wild dog, rhino, lions. I mean, it's just incredible how much has been out here this morning. The dung beetle, looking at the tracks, it's been an absolute phenomenal morning. And you know, it's really funny how the bush works. Some days like that, it just absolutely bangs, and other days, mostly when the weather's not too good, that activity really drops. Yeah, Carol, I also thought it was going to be Limpy by himself, but amazing that Limpy's keeping up with his brother and the pride, and also looks like he had something to eat as well. Carol and Barbara? No. We were joking yesterday, and we're talking about a cheetah's stomach and the methogens and chemical compounds in a cheetah's stomach. Yeah, Barbara, I'd love to answer you now when you send the question, but I'm afraid it's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour to explain it, so we'll have to leave it till next time. I didn't do my research last night. And Michael, unfortunately, we haven't yet seen a little bee eater. I almost said dwarf bee eater. That would have been embarrassing. But yeah, I just can't believe what an incredible morning it's been. Sure. Feel very privileged to be able to have witnessed this all. I'm super happy that you've all been on board to witness it and watch it all taking place live from your home. The only better thing to do would be to come here yourself and come and join Painted Dog on safari, and then you really get to experience it firsthand. It's almost getting to that time of morning where it's time for the next cup of coffee. Time to get a refill. So I'm leaning over here, I'm reading your comments. It's easier if I hold it. Yeah, thanks guys. It really has been an awesome one, and it's really awesome to hear that after a tough week or tough couple of days, sometimes some tough news, that being able to join on these virtual drives, really it's a time just to enjoy it, sit back, relax, enjoy it, not worry about anything else, not think about anything else. So really awesome to hear that. And I feel privileged that I'm able to help you guys with that and bring a bit of joy to your weekend. And I hope that you've really enjoyed it all this morning. I think we've had an absolute phenomenal morning. We couldn't have asked for anything better. And once again, a massive thank you to Painted Dog and to the pack members, to Stanley and Lead Lenser and Rogue. Didn't have to use the Rogues too much this morning. The Rogues got a break today. They didn't have to do too much walking, luckily just pushing accelerators. So massive thanks to Rogue as well, and of course Dunlop. But to all of you, have an absolutely phenomenal day, phenomenal night, wherever you may be in the world, and we will have a catch up most likely in the next couple of days. Otherwise, time to sign out and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye guys.